Hello, Ray Phoenix here. Welcome to Let's Play Ratchet and Clank Free Up Your Arsenal Part 3. This is the first time this game. We're going to be doing something for the first time. It's something we'll be doing several other times throughout the course of this game. We'll be doing these so-called challenges. They're pretty much just a bunch of battles in this large, grand-scale war we're in right now. Where we're going to be going to war with the Tyrannoid forces. We're defending the Capitol building, the Capitol Palace, or whatever you call it, the Presidential Palace, or the Puffy Palace, or whatever you would call it, from these Tyrannoid alien things. These aliens are just walking around. They speak their own language too, and then and all they do is fly around those flying saucer things. We only have 2 weapons still. I still haven't bought any new weapons yet. But I think the 2 weapons we have are enough to suffice to go against all these Tyrannoid things. It's really giving us some experience points in these weapons, so we'll get some more weapons upgrades. And we can also use a Omni Wrench against these guys too, but the Omni Wrench isn't really a practical thing. One of the greatest things about playing a game in a language you don't understand is that when the robots, the Galactic Troopers, the Ginga Warriors, whatever they call them, when they're in danger, they always say, "Ratchet, help us," or "We could really use some help here, Sarge," or something like that, but you'd have no idea they were saying that because it's all in Japanese, so it doesn't make you as fearful they're gonna get killed, or they're gonna die or something like that. That's one of the greatest things about playing a game in a language you don't understand. I sometimes like playing games in languages I don't understand. There's something better about it. One of the things I like about playing the Korean version of this game is that Korean is like a very weird language. It's completely different from Japanese and so many other languages. And when I play this game in Korean, it creates an illusion that I'm playing the game in an alien language, which would make sense, because Ratchet and Clank probably would speak an alien language, considering the fact they live in some other galaxy that's like on the opposite end of our universe or something like that. At least I like to think it was some other galaxy. I wonder if Ratchet and Clank ever visited Earth. Does Earth even exist in the Ratchet and Clank universe? I have no idea. But I don't really want to know what that's like. People ask the same thing about Earth in the Star Wars universe. Does Earth exist in the Star Wars universe? Some people like to think it does, and that's the Earth that Indiana Jones happens at. So we complete this challenge. We always get a prize. It's always for a prize, because this game doesn't think we do something for the greater good. It thinks that we always do something because of money. Money's our only incentive for wanting to do any of these challenges. At least that's what the game seems to think. But of course, we could still use some extra bolts, so we could buy some more weapons that we could use. Could really up our arsenal to give us a larger arsenal. We have the Plasma Whip, which is pretty much just like the Omni Wrench, but it uses ammo, and it's slightly better. And we also throw it the same way we throw the Omni Wrench as well, too. So I guess that's, and supposedly does more damage. I know it's not really one of the best weapons in the game. There was a similar weapon to this in Ratchet and Deadlocked, but that weapon was that mace or whatever they called it was a little bit better. Yeah, this isn't really one of the best weapons in the game. None of the weapons you get at the beginning are the best. To make matters worse, most weapons you get are very weak when you get them, and you keep using them over time, and they get upgraded. Like the other weapon we bought was one of the best weapons in the game. The N60 Storm is what it's called. It's considered, I always think it's one of the best weapons in the game, but apparently a lot of people seem to think it sucks. It's like a rapid fire weapon. It's kind of like the Lancer from the previous game. A rapid fire, almost like a machine gun kind of thing, a handheld machine gun that you could just go rapid fire shooting with. And yeah, the N60 Storm is what it's called. And it must be one. I think Insomniac Games do is one of the best weapons in the game, because it's on the front cover of the American version of the game, where it shows Ratchet armed with this weapon. And oddly enough, the Korean version of this game, the European version, both versions of those games have Ratchet using the Infector on the front cover of the game. I don't even think the Infector is that good of a weapon. It's not really one of the best. And oddly enough, the Korean version has my favorite cover art for this game, where it has like a really cool, like retro reflective, multicolored, what do you call it? It has like a multicolored surface, almost where you can hold up to light, you can see it reflect in cool ways. And it's also cool in the back too, where it really highlights the Quark vid comics. Where it highlights the vid comics, like showing different. Those Quark vid comics are some of my favorite parts of the game. We'll see them in time, but those are some of my favorite parts of this game. The Korean cover really likes to emphasize them. Oh look, now we're going to be playing Missile Commander, or some sort of like one of those games those arcade-like games where you just sit behind a turret and you shoot at stuff, which is what we're going to be doing now. We're going to be shooting down these drop ships before they can lay eggs that spawn these Tyrannoids. Those aren't really eggs, you know what it means. It's like killing them before they spawn, killing the gremlins before they eat after midnight, or killing them before they can get any water so they can reproduce. I wonder how Tyrannoids reproduce. If you pour water on them, do they multiply? Do they have any weaknesses other than just shooting the crap out of them and killing them? Maybe a song does it. Maybe there's some kind of like crappy song from the 1950s or something like that your grandma be listening to that would kill them, that make their heads explode when they listen to it. Oh, how that would be pretty awesome. We're not using any of our weapons, so our weapons don't really matter for this. But I think we do get experience points for this killing. Like, we already have 17 health levels, or what you call that, or like nanotech, I guess. 17 nanotech. It's a pretty good amount of health to have, considering the fact we're still at the beginning of the game. We don't have any armor upgrades yet, and Ratchet's pathetically weak right now for any armor upgrades. This game's kind of like Mega Man X3 almost at the beginning, where without any upgrades, you could easily get killed in like 2 or 3 hits. Sometimes not even. I like to still build up. I also sometimes like to use that health, that nanotech thing, as a way to determine how far you are into the game, because by the time you get to about 100 nanotech, that's around where the game would be ending, or very close to the end of the game. That would theoretically mean you have the game about 18% complete already, but I don't think we have this game 18% complete yet. If this is a short game, that would be the case, but no, this game isn't that short. It's not one of the shortest games there. This game is a pretty decent length. It's about 8 hours long or so, and I heard some of the newer Ratchet and Clank games have about that same length. About 10 hours or so, yeah, I guess that's a pretty decent length for a game like this. Just shooting down all the Tyrannoids again. I don't know if we have the charge ability. I don't think we have the ability to charge or weapon, or what's it called, the shock blaster yet. We can use the N60 Storm. It's giving it some more upgrades, this simple little gun. And yet, oddly enough, there actually was a weapon very similar to the shock blaster in the previous game. It was called the Blitz Cannon or something like that, and you had to buy it at the vending machines. Like the weapons, a rapid fire weapon, and the more closer range weapons, like they switched spaces or they traded spots kind of thing. So now one of them has to be bought at the vending machine after this being given to you at the beginning of the game. And because most weapons in this game, I mean, you only get 2 weapons in the game, and that's just about it. Pretty much none of the other weapons in this game are given to you for free. This M60 Storm is probably one of the best weapons in the game, which is probably why they give it to you somewhat early in the game. And it's pretty effective overall against, even when it's not really well charged. But again, these enemies, this is still early in the game, so these enemies don't really have a lot of health. These are like weaker enemies compared to some of the enemies we'll be dealing with later in this game, fighting against with later in this game. Look at it, got the plasma whip. You really have to jump. It's only effective really if you jump in there. It's kind of just roaming around. You have to defend the turret being repaired by those Galactic Rangers are repairing the trees. You really have to let one of them survive, and we did. Look, got 7,500 bolts for that little gig. It's not even really. All we do is just roam around. It's kind of hard to lose some of these unless you get killed. Unless you just run out of nanotech. Look, we already have 19 nanotech, alright? This game's just throwing nanotech at us. It seems to be really easy in this game to just collect a lot of health upgrades and get a lot of bolts. There isn't really much of a shortage of bolts in this game. And there isn't even really much time that we're forced to use them either. Except for buying weapons, which is something we're kind of like implicitly supposed to be taking on. Look, we're almost at level 2 right now with this N60 Storm, this rapid fire weapon. There's also some other parts of this game I think where it could give you weapons for free that you have unlocked in previous Ratchet and Clank games. But I don't think this memory card I'm using has any data from any of the previous Ratchet and Clank games. But they're still in the game. You just have to buy them anyways. Considering how many bolts we get, that's not really a big issue. You won't even notice armor on this Pipo monkey because it's just a skin. Ratchet, when he buys the armor, still does its effect, even if you're not using that skin. You're gonna be using the Pipo monkey skin, the best skin in the game. I think it's the best skin in the game. I recently found out there's also a Santa skin in this game too, but it's also only in the Japanese and Korean versions of this game, and it's only unlockable for cheating. It's only unlocked if you use a cheat code. And I actually I was wondering, how would people have known that? Back in the day, like without cheat codes, and it's not advertised anywhere in the game. It's really just a hidden secret. So how would people have known about it? I can only think of one way how someone would have known about it. I remember there was an advertisement in one of the Ape Escape games. I think it was Ape Escape 3, saying that there's a Ratchet skin, and sorry, there was an ad for Ape Escape Pre and Ratchet Deadlocked, and I think in Ape Escape Pre there may have also been an ad for Ratchet Deadlocked saying that you could unlock the Pipo monkey skin. It was probably the same case too. I did find an ad saying that. It's probably in some Ape Escape game or maybe even a magazine or something like that. Gaming magazines are still pretty big back in these days. This is even back when guides are still pretty big too. Because not everyone had the internet back when this game came out. Internet wasn't really a required thing. Some people didn't even know what it was yet. I remember with PlayStation, registering for PlayStation Underground, there was even an option that says I don't have an internet connection. And that was in the registration form that came with my copy of Jack Free. That game came out in 2004, same year as this game. So we're gonna meet the president, and he seems more interested in meeting Clank, simply because he's Secret Agent Clank. He's a celebrity from TV. He's not as interested in meeting Ratchet, even though Ratchet was the main hero of the last two games. I mean, it's because he's a Pipo monkey now. Then again, being the Pipo monkey doesn't really impact the story at all, give him any special powers or abilities at all either. He's just some monkey wearing dark blue pants. He's just gonna give us some task to do to go inside one of the Capitol buildings, I think, and he's gonna give us some gadget thing where we have to like do some puzzle solving and platforming and stuff. He's also going to tell us his daughter tells him that he's really good with his hands. Ratchet's really good with his hands. He's like, what? No, I never. He denies it. Like, no, I never did anything like that. He could play these challenges again too. This game actually does have more replay value than its predecessor because he could play all these war battles, these war challenges again. I think that's probably where they got the idea for Ratchet Deadlocked from, because Ratchet Deadlocked is pretty much entirely battles and action. It doesn't really have very many platforming parts like this, and puzzle-solving parts too. So there's those little Tyrannoid things. Again, those little small ones, you don't even need to waste any ammo with these. You could easily just kill them with a wrench. And some of the weapons in this game are very similar to some of the weapons that appeared in Disruptor. That's because this game was made by the same people who made Disruptor. Heck, there was even one weapon, and I think it was in Ratchet and Clank too. There was one weapon that was also present in Disruptor. It was called the Zodiac. I remember when I Let's Played Disruptor as well too. That was a really good game. Insomniac's first masterpiece, and it's a mostly forgotten game. What a shame. That's forgotten. This is mostly just what you typically expect for Ratchet and Clank, where you do some platforming, you penetrate some building with a gadget, and you twist these bolts, these large bolt things, you turn them around, and you could use this new gadget we got. This gadget could also be used as a weapon if you stand into a laser beam and just position the laser around like that and make it hit those targets. Oh, like more Tyrannoids. Only this isn't going to get upgraded at all, because upgrades, I mean, like a weapon upgrades work, those are only for weapons, and this isn't a weapon. The game considers this to be a gadget, even though you could kill stuff with it. Imagine if the Omni Wrench could get upgraded from using it. Oh, that would be something. Then again, we already got a bunch of upgrades in Ratchet 2, where we would where you would just simply find a new wrench somewhere instead of just using it in conjunction with his other wrench. You just simply throws it in. It's like, it's not important anymore. I don't really need this wrench anymore. Just discards it like a broken toy. Look at that. More Tyrannoids. There's some Tyrannoids just getting paid to hang out in there. I wonder if Dr. Nefarious pays these things to do his bidding, or maybe they're just, I mean, they're not even sentient. I think sure they are sentient, but maybe they're not really civilized creatures. They don't really know much about the Tyrannoid race. That doesn't matter to us. They're bad guys. They're supposed to be vaporized, like we always do with bad guys. Our Disruptor has some enemies similar to that too, some bizarre alien enemies and then there were like those ice mutants and whatnot, and Ratchet and Clank seems to have similar ideas for enemies like that. More of these Tyrannoids that could easily be just killed with our wrench. Just give them a quick little slap there with the wrench, and there we go. We can make this and this musical, like whole thing a musical bridge. So you walk on it, it makes like a musical chime. It's like ding 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 ding. It all sounds like when you try speaking Tyrannoid language, which is something we're going to be doing later in this game. Let's use a bomb on that thing. This thing's called a nitro launcher, the nitro bomb cannon or something like that. I think that's this weapon is called. I don't know. I haven't played the English language version of this game in a long time. So I don't even remember what it was called in that version. Just gonna lure this bug thing up here so we could hit the target. So it could let me in the door so we could get to the next part of the devil. This is Ray Phoenix, signing out.